We need a review.
All right. All right, we're going to start again from Yud Beis.
Okay.
We'll start over from the beginning of Yud Beis. That's 12. That's on page 54, 55.
Right page.
Look at that. Just look for the page that's got the coffee stains on it. You know? All right, six of them. Yeah, the last one.
It's like the Haggadahs. There's a story behind every stain.
That's right. Okay, Jody, she hasn't joined, but
Okay, that's fine.
all right, here we go. So,
Another 10 minutes if she doesn't, we'll start it off.
okay. So what we learned before we started Yud Beis was that there is a world in between. So there's the world that we are in now, the Olam Hazeh, and then there's Olam Haba, the world to come that's post-resurrection, and then we have in between what's called the Olam HaNeshamas, the world of the souls, and that's where the souls are until the appropriate time comes for Olam Haba to begin. Okay? So now he's going to describe again what exactly goes on in this Olam HaNeshamas, the world of souls. So he says, in addition to this world of souls serving the purpose of giving the souls a place to be, a place to rest, during Kol Zman Hayason Mitzapas Laguf, as long as they are waiting for the body to be ready to re-accept that neshama and to be recreated through that new neshama, as we've mentioned. In addition, there is another purpose of this world, and this is Ta'elas Gedolah. This is a great purpose that it has, Nintzis by the neshamas atzman, that is found in this world for the neshamas themselves, the acharein leguf, and also afterwards for the body itself. What does that mean? For that which the body will need in the time of the resurrection. So basically, what we said last time was that the neshama needs to go through a certain process, and that process needs to also be gone through by the body separately. And once the body and soul are ready to reunite, and the body's gone through enough of a transformation, that will allow the neshama to go back into that body and recreate it and reinvigorate it and get it back on a very high level that it wasn't able to do in this lifetime. And that's what he's going to describe as we go on. So how does this work? And this is because once the decree came upon man that a man will be unable to reach perfection until after death. Once Adam sinned, it became impossible at that point for mankind to be perfected here in this world. The evil had become incorporated into the body to the extent that a person would not be able to reach perfection while still inhabiting that body. So it's only upon death that the neshama leaves the body that it is then possible to achieve perfection. Okay, so now he says, Af al pishak far near limits on even though it is certainly reasonable that the things that he had done while alive would have merited reaching at least a degree of perfection. A person could have lived an excellent life, accomplished tremendously great things, and that should have caused the body to become elevated, even while he was still alive. Because if that wasn't the case, it would be impossible for a person to ever achieve perfection. Because the only time a person can do things to achieve perfection is here in this world while he's alive. Before death, as we mentioned. So if it has to be possible for a person to do things that would perfect him in this world, because that's the only time you can do things. If you tell me you can't do them until after you're dead, well, you can't do them at that point. Right. So basically what he's saying is that we have to be able to find the opportunity for perfection here in this world, and yet we still can't achieve it.
It's a catch-22. In other words,
right.
You have to do it, but you can't do it.
Exactly. So he's saying that even though the actions that we've done would have achieved that perfection of the body, but there's this decree from Hashem that says that no, it's not going to work. It's not going to happen. So you have done the things that you need to do, hopefully, but it won't actually come out. It won't actually come to fruition while we're still alive. So we'll have an account, essentially. We'll have this account that will store all the things that we did, and then over time, eventually, that perfection will be realized through what we had done. Okay, does this make sense? A retirement account. That's one way to look at it. Okay.
Very high
All right.
earnings, high yield, low risk.
Never affected by the inflation.
Exactly.
That's right.
It's
That's right. Good interest rates. That's true. All right.
amazing
Good.
interest rates.
Okay. Okay. So he's going to explain this more as we continue on. So he says, in addition to all of this being the purpose of the world of souls, that the neshama has a place to be during this waiting period.
Oh, so Xer is about being in the Olam Hashem versus Misa not getting Shlemus after Misa? Which Xer does it mean?
The Gzera of not being able to
You don't have to
achieve
love it.
perfection, which necessitates
An Olam Hashem.
a world of neshamas. Exactly.
You say it's one of the...
Yes, it's very much connected. Yes. Which is, Hanashama, the soul, Kozman Heyaysa Beguf, as long as it's in the body, here in this world, Shahara Davukba, that the evil is connected to it, it's impossible to fully rid oneself of that evil. That can't happen. So then the soul remains in a darkened and low state. Even though through the good deeds that a person does, the neshama does achieve for itself perfection and greatness, still, it's not something that can become, it cannot appear, it cannot become visible, it cannot become actualized in this world. And it cannot shine with the shine that it should have shown, if not for this body being affected by the evil. Relative to the greatness that it should have been able to have based on what it had done. So meaning as a person goes through life, our neshamas accomplish great things, and our neshamas should be shining and bursting forth, but they're contained. They can't. Because of the body and the evil that has contained the body, that forces the neshama to remain covered and contained, essentially, without being able to shine based on what it had done. It all remains covered within itself until the time comes that it's able to reveal its greatness.
Is that the reasoning for the Mishra Bavas? In other words, is that the reason why we have to have Mavis?
The reason we have to have...
Body, therefore there needs to be a Mavis?
What he said earlier was that the reason there has to be death is because once the body incorporated evil into itself, it's impossible for the neshama to grow.
So what is this about Rabin? Why do you need... Why is that playing a role here?
The reason why the neshama is unable to shine through the body is because the body is contaminated from the ra, from the evil. Meaning prior to the
It's
sin...
not related. Those two are different facts. In other words...
Prior to the sin in the Garden of Eden...
Right, I remember the Madrig.
The soul shone through the body. The body didn't need clothing. It was just a bright light. It wasn't necessary because the body was transparent relative to the soul. Once the body incorporated evil into itself through eating from the tree of knowledge, the body became thick and heavy and dense, and it doesn't allow the soul to shine through. So now the soul is just building up and building up and building up and building up, and it's got all this tremendous potential of all the good things that it's done, but it's still contained in the soul. So it's only once the neshama leaves that then it's finally able to burst forth and shine because of all the good things it had done.
It's like the klippas and the socios.
Yes.
Klipa, you got to get to the center, the spark.
Right.
But aren't there
We're not going to elaborate on that right now. Yes.
people who just like glow and, just their personality and everything because of their internet?
We're going to see about that soon. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Correct.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Okay. So as the I mean the wording that's used in the Kabbalistic sources is that the neshama is spirituality wrapped in rags, meaning it's just covered. It's covered over. It can't express itself. We can't see that shine because the body is contaminated with evil, and therefore the neshama is unable to penetrate through to shine forth. But as he says, that doesn't mean that it just disappears. What it means is that it's being stored up. So all this greatness, all this glory that the neshama attains is just storing up within itself until the time comes where it will be able to shine and burst forth. Okay, so v'ulam, however, ein ha'akava mitzida klal. The holding back, the inability to shine is not because of itself, not because of the neshama, k'moshe zakarnu, as we mentioned. V'hu atzmai, I'm sorry, ki'imitz guf. Rather, it's just the body that makes it unable to shine. K'moshe zakarnu, as we mentioned. V'hu atzmai mafsid b'zeh. And the truth is that the body itself is losing out because of this. Shelo yikabel kol oiseh hazman, because it will not be able to receive during this entire time the purifying forces of, or effects I should say, of the neshama will be unable to have their effect on the body until the resurrection. So it's not just the soul that's losing out because the body incorporated evil into itself, but the body itself is losing out because of that, because if not for that, the body would have been nourished and elevated from the soul, and the body would have become elevated to the point of like where Adam Rishon was. But because of the incorporation of evil into the body itself becomes a barrier and becomes soul-proof, and it doesn't absorb the energies of the neshama, and therefore it's unable to be elevated through the neshama because of what it had done. So it's a very difficult relationship that the body and soul have until the time of the resurrection. Because on the one hand, the body needs the soul, and the soul needs the body, but at the same time, they can't really interact very well. And that's tough. That's very difficult.
A bad relationship.
They need each other, but they don't interact well.
Yeah, it sounds like a bad, like a toxic relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the goal is
Ultimately, they're good for each other.
Yes.
Ultimately,
they're necessary for
Yes.
each other. Yes.
Necessary,
Aren't the
but
mitzvahs the food for the neshama? So that's the
Yes.
bridge between the body and soul. The mitzvah is what is the umbilical cord that links the body and the soul. It connects it.
Right. So the body is the vehicle that the soul needs to accomplish.
Right.
And the soul is the battery that keeps the body able to accomplish. Right. So they're very much connected and intertwined, and we'll get more into this as we go on, because this is going to be, the majority of this is going to be discussing the relationship between the body and soul. But as of right now, what we've understood is that when Adam sinned, what happened was the body became so physical that it was unable to absorb the purification that the neshama offered, and therefore the neshama becomes contained within the body instead of shining out through the body. Okay?
Okay.
That's essentially what we've said. Good?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So now, so this is where we got up to last week, by the way. No.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you heard me. No. However, gam hi mafsedes. The truth of the matter is that the soul itself also loses out because of this arrangement. Why? Shehikvusha ba'atzma, because the soul is subdued into itself, And it's unable to shine and spread its shine all around. In addition, the neshama is not able to do that which it was designed to do, that which is appropriate for it, which is shehi zikach haguf. The neshama was designed to purify and elevate the body, and it can't do that. Not only can it not shine out to the world, it can't even elevate the body, which is exactly what it was designed for. That's what it was made for. And if the neshama would be able to do this, if it would be able to purify and elevate the body, then it would have achieved a great level of perfection, just because of that itself, that it's doing what it was designed for. Because the idea of perfection, the whole concept of achieving achieving its ultimate potential, is to be able to do good for others and to be able to perfect others. That is the goal of every creature, everything that has been created, every neshama, every person, everything in the world is created for the purpose of doing for others.
Like he says in the Shar,
Exactly. That's the whole purpose of creation, is because Hashem himself is a giver, and therefore he created us in his likeness to also be givers, so that we can achieve the reward of becoming like him. That's the ultimate reward, is becoming closer to Hashem by becoming more like him, by being givers. So the neshama is being stifled, that it can't do that. It can't accomplish this perfection because it's unable to influence the body. I shouldn't say influence. It's unable to perfect the body.
Does the neshama naturally do that, or is that something that are you training your neshama to do that, or is that something?
Okay, so the neshama does that. That is what it's designed to do. The neshama is a piece of Hashem. Hashem is the ultimate of giving. So the neshama is the ultimate of giving in a smaller way. The problem is that the neshama is contained in a body. And there's a constant battle throughout life of the body which only wants for itself, and the neshama which only wants for others. So everything that the body motivates us to do is for ourselves. Our body never motivates us to do something for others. Our neshama always motivates us to do for others, never for ourselves. So that's the constant battle in life. Is, are you going to listen to your neshama and do for others, or listen to yourself, your body, and do for yourself? As Rabbi Saul Salanter said in the introduction to Ar Yisrael, I think it's in Ar Yisrael, his son writes there that one thing our father taught us all the time, this is the one thing that stuck out. Rabbi Saul Salanter, one of the greatest personalities in history. And what did his son say? This is what he taught us all day. He drilled this into us. Adam laila atzmei nivra ki im l'zulasei. Man is not created for ourselves. We're created for others. That's life. You have to understand that. That is the goal. The design, the goal, the purpose, it's all the same. Do for others. Help others. Be there for others. That's what life's about. All of our motivation should be for others. So, as he's saying over here, the neshama is designed that way and is also inhibited. It can't do that. It's impossible. The neshama cannot purify the body in this current world that we live in. So that, he's saying, is a tremendous deficit that the neshama finds itself in because of what the body did with eating from the tree of knowledge. It becomes now that not only is the body negatively affected, the neshama itself is also now limited in its potential for growth and potential for reaching perfection because it can't help others, and that's exactly what it was designed to do. Okay. And furthermore, this is really the best thing for it. Based on its nature and its rules, the way it's made. This is what it was formed for. And every creation becomes perfected when it does what Hashem designed it to do. And every creature, every creation is lacking in perfection as long as it hasn't done that which it was created to do. So the idea here is that when a person, let's just take as an example, a person is created. The purpose of this person is X, Y, and Z. That's what it's got to accomplish in this world. There's all sorts of other things it can do also, but the goal is to do X, Y, and Z because Hashem said this neshama needs X, Y, and Z to become perfected, to reach its greatest potential. So we could do all sorts of other things, and those will be good and all, but they're not going to be helping us in the direction that we need to be going. Because that direction Hashem knows is our road to perfection. And anything else is an aside. How do we know what that is? How do we know what's what? Well, Hashem gave it to us. It's the Torah. Hashem gave us mitzvahs. Kahanim, certain mitzvahs. Leviim, Yisraelim, men, women. Everyone has different mitzvahs. The idea is because these are the things that Hashem says you need to perfect your neshama. So when you do those things, then you know you're going on the path that Hashem says this is what your neshama needs to reach perfection. You could do other things also, potentially, but they might be good, but they're not helping you in that direction, which is why we make such a big deal about a bar mitzvah. What's the big deal about a bar mitzvah? Who cares? So now he's 13, so now he's able to do mitzvahs. He was always able to do mitzvahs. He's counted for a minyan? All right, I think that's nice and all, but like, you know, you don't make that kind of party because someone can all of a sudden now they're part of a minyan. What's the big deal? The answer is because now that he's required to do the mitzvahs, that means this is now his path for achieving perfection. And until then, it wasn't. Right? So that's the big excitement about a bar mitzvah, is because now you become required to do the mitzvahs that you need to do. So that is the path to perfection. And that's what he's saying over here. As long as a person or any creature does what it's designed and made to do, it's achieving perfection. And until it does that, it's lacking in perfection. Okay? Okay. All right. Kind of hoping we were going to finish today. Not happening. All right. However, b'tseis haneshama me'aguf. When the body releases the soul and the soul leaves the body, v'lechta el elam neshamas, and the neshama goes to the world of souls. Hinesham mispashetes umizdaheres bizahara. There, it's able to spread, it's able to shine in all of its glory. Kifima shurayla, based on what's appropriate for it, apimasa, based on what it had done in this world. So, when a person is no longer stuck in the body, when the neshama is no longer stuck in the body, that's when the neshama is able to shine. Because now there's no inhibitions anymore. There's nothing holding it back. So what happens then is interesting. He says, "Mischazekes mimash shenischal shabaguf." It becomes strengthened from that which it had been weakened by being in the body. Umizdamenes yoser lema shiroi shetiyaseh b'zman atchiyah. And now it is more prepared to do that which it needs to do at the time of perfection, of resurrection. And until the point that when it goes back into the body at the time of the resurrection, bizman haroi, when it's the appropriate time, it will be able to do that which it was made to do to the body, v'hainu, and that is azikuch shezecharnu, it is the purification that we had mentioned. So what he's saying is that not only is the world of souls a place where the neshama is able to rest until the proper time for it to come back into the body, but it is also an opportunity for the neshama which had been stifled and held back for all the years that it lived in this world to finally get out of that. It's finally able to burst. It's finally able to spread its light and shine in all of its glory, because there's no more inhibition of the body, of the evil, of the physicality. It's gone. It's been separated from that. It's living in a spiritual existence now, and it's able to do all of that. And by doing so, it is able to become strengthened from that which it was, the state that it was in the body. When it was in the body, it was contained, it was cramped, it wasn't able to shine, and there was constant battling, and it wears the neshama down. But once it's out of this world, it's out of the realm of being affected by the physicality, that all disappears, and the neshama is able to thrive. The neshama is able to grow. I shouldn't say grow is not a good word. But the neshama is able to actualize all of the potential that it had gained, all the energy that was stored up, it's finally able to come out, and it's able to express itself in its fullest form. So that's a very useful and important, necessary step in the process of resurrection. Because if the neshama never goes through that, then it won't be ready to be reinfused into the body. Because it will have been just stuck for too long and never given the opportunity to really express itself. So when it goes back into a body, if it's premature, it's not going to accomplish very much. It has to be given that flight, the freeness of being able, the freedom I should say, of being able to be fully, spreading its wings. Then when it goes back into the body, it can have the full effect of the burst of spirituality that the body needs to be elevated once again to the point before Adam sinned.
That's if you reach slavery.
To whatever degree that you reached it, that's how much it'll be able to do. So, everyone's done something. So to whatever degree you accomplished in this world, however many lifetimes that was.
So it won't purify the body 100%, but it'll purify it to the degree that you purify.
Based on how much you accomplished, yes. Yes.
I feel like there should be a great need for sunglasses
What?
in this whole world. I'm kidding. It just talks about being so bright. Like, I feel like I'm going to need sunglasses.
It's almost like Gullus to Ula. It's like we're on our personal Gullus, and then we go to our personal Ula. And finally the soul is taken out of Mitzrayim, and the neshama shines, and the neshama now is redeemed. That's the Pesach story, right?
Right.
Metaphorically speaking,
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking. Like it's like you're in Mitzrayim, now we take our neshama out of Mitzrayim, and now